Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 5 with 5 is back, and this week we're doing a special giveaway thanks to our partners, LiveScore. The first 100 people to download the LiveScore app and sign up to LiveScore 6 get a chance to come into the studio. Look, not 100 people coming in the studio at the same time.
I was going to say it'd be a bit tight.
No, it's not like that. They're entered into a ballot, and you know what? We'll be able to pick the winners, and you'll be able to come on the show and tell me how right I am.
No more Arsenal fans.
About Arsenal winning the league, or maybe how wrong Rio and Steve have been about their team this season. Listen, man, it's a special episode, so please keep on watching. Yeah, make sure you download and sign up to the LiveScore app. You know what you have to do. Yeah, it don't matter.
Also, Joel, yes, the Premier League is back, but also LiveScore 6 is back, and they are offering you a chance to win £250,000. That's a lot of scratch. All you need to do is predict the scores of 6 selected matches and the cash could be yours.
Last week, guys, 4 correct results. And guys, this week we can win even more for our charity, by the way. So you know what to do. Download the LiveScore app and sign up to LiveScore 6, which is free to play. Predict the 6 scores for a chance to win huge.
Listen to Joel as well, because I'm obviously very good at this. Make sure you check the description because the links are all there. Only in the UK and Ireland, and you have to be over 18 to enter. Full T's and C's apply. I know everyone's going to cry about Manchester United and their results. Oh, Man United. Oh, listen, we're going to start off with Arsenal because I think we need to start upbeat and talk about how good of a job Mikel Arteta is doing.
Top boy at the moment.
Top boy, like your jacket, big man.
Top boy.
Shout out to Kano and Asher D as well, man. I ain't
They
seen the
blessed
loss.
me. They blessed me with some nice goodie bag.
The goodie bag.
Are ours in the post? Yeah.
Yeah, where's?
Ours are in the
what's going
post.
on?
You've got a certain levels, innit?
Ours are in the post.
Certain
I'm
levels.
sure they're in
yeah.
the post. I'm sure you won't just not send us one. I'm sure they're in the post.
And it's bad because Ash is an Arsenal fan as well.
Is he?
So yeah.
I might just take this off then.
Yeah.
No wonder.
Yeah.
I thought the inside was for Man United, for my colour.
Nah.
Never
Never that.
Put my name on it as
Never
well.
that.
You see the name on that? Yeah.
Focusing. It's got your net. Nah. I thought it said Rice.
Top boy for a top boy.
Why would it say Rice?
I don't know. That's sick. That's
Why do
hard.
you always try and bring Arsenal into
That's hard.
every single situation?
I'm just saying though, don't set me up. Starting with Arsenal, beating Everton 1-0 at Goodison Park. Listen.
Boring Arsenal.
Nah, man. You were
Like
there.
Everton, like everyone else.
No. Come on, man. Like we haven't won at Goodison Park in 6 years, by the way. So It's one of those places where for a while they were like one of our bogey teams. It was a bogey ground, and we were there last year when we interviewed Mope at the end after we lost. I think that's one of the results that really didn't help us.
Yeah. He was mocking you lot, boy.
Should we insert the video just for?
It was good.
He was mocking.
The video goes in there.
To meet you.
Always ruffling the Arsenal feathers.
Oh, no.
Always ruffling them, bro. How you
have
doing?
to. Yeah,
How you are?
good
How
to
you
see you.
doing?
Hello.
You alright?
Yeah. Good win for us.
Oh, amazing. You happy?
Yeah, I am.
But anyway, we're past that now. Brilliant goal from Trossard, who I told you was always going to be a good player. Coming
Did you?
to
Can we
Arsenal.
get a clip of you? You was doubtful about him.
No, I wasn't. Never.
Everyone.
I was the one who was saying that this guy is a fantastic signing.
I wanted Mudryk first. I just thought, just pay the money. This is why we're not challenging.
Arsenal have done great business.
Great business, you know.
Great business.
Even trusting Raya to go in goal. Oh, I was so happy.
Go on then.
I was so happy.
No, this will be seen as the turning point for where the wheels came off.
How could you
You
say
can't
that?
rotate your goalkeepers
Why not?
because you can't.
Why not?
Because you can't.
Remember,
It's like trying to. You can't.
listen,
Why though? Why?
Yeah, why?
Why can't you rotate guys? I saw a quote. We can put it in there actually if you want. I saw a quote of from the manager. Let me just get it. Hold on, sorry.
I think goalkeeper is one of the positions where you've got to have the goalkeeper almost have to have this delusional level of self-confidence in themselves because of you as a defender. When you make a mistake, usually it's catastrophic, right? Goalkeepers are a level above that.
Career defining.
Yeah, you make a single mistake, you come out flapping for one corner, miss it, they score. That can be you. So I think they have to have this almost like godlike belief that they are the number one. Yeah, and I think as soon as you start going, you're this week, you're next week, you're this week, you're next week, then they start second guessing themselves. And as soon as you start second guessing yourself, gone.
Let's listen to Arteta. We can put these up. On 2 occasions, I felt after 60 minutes and after 85 minutes in 2 games in this period, to change the keeper in that moment, and I didn't do it. Listen, tell me why not to do it. Why not? We have all the qualities in another goalkeeper to do something. Something is happening and you want to change momentum. Do it. It's a regret that I had. So he's saying we have to change the culture, or he's changing the culture of the way that goalkeepers are seen. Like you say, that invincibility element, he wants to take that away and say, no, you're like a team player. If there's something else this goalkeeper brings that you haven't as a number one, for this particular game, I'm going to change you and use it. And I might even do it in game.
Agreed. I agree, because I think, look, it's modern football now. Onana, what's one of his best attributes? When you talk about Onana, no, let's be honest now. When you talk about him, you don't say, he's a great shot stopper, which he is, but that's not the first element that you talk about.
I don't like the tone in your voice.
Hang on a minute, man. Hang on a minute, man. Hang on, no, I ain't finished it. Let me land. You can talk about your XGs and all that later. We'll talk about that later, all right? When you look at Onana, you think great passing ability. The game has changed. Rio, you were ahead of your time. But before, they wanted aggression. Have it, son. You came out and you played the ball out. Some people weren't used to it. They didn't know how to handle it. Didn't even go to certain tournaments because of it. Okay. Do you see what I mean?
I understand.
So now we're in a time where the profile of players has to change. How we handle players has to change. How players are spoken to and about has to change. And that's fine. I'm up for it.
I understand what you're saying, but my example, I don't think is the right one, because I played the way I played and that was it. And I may have been ahead of my time, but the game was ready to accept someone like me playing the way I played, and it embraced that.
The game had already
they could have embraced it even more, but they could have embraced it even more.
No, but I mean, it's very different when you're saying to a goalkeeper that's brought up a certain way and saying this has to change now. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying it's very different to go out of the blue. You have to bear in mind, Aaron Ramsdale's been your number one goalkeeper. Everyone's singing his praises. There's been a camera of people saying he should be the England goalkeeper now, etc. Right? And then he starts the season. So he's had his best season in his career. Bearing in mind, before that, he'd been relegated a couple of times. Nice. So he's had a fantastic season, newfound confidence, newfound image, reputation. And then the manager goes and says, no, you're not my outright number one. That's what he's been brought up on, being outright number one. That's the culture. No. But you're going to fight it out for someone, and actually, he may come in game now, and actually, a certain game he's going to play, and you're not going to play. What does that do?
You're just backing it because it's Arteta.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but it's a big shift in culture. Yeah, what I'm saying is, it's whether that player, Mikel Arteta, has taken a risk in that. Can this goalkeeper deal with that? That's the big question that has to be asked. And this season will tell us.
Well, yeah, it will, and you're right. And I think the game's evolved. For example, you're just saying there, okay, cool, that's a big culture shift. What about everyone's playing it from the back now because of Pep? You go back 6-7 years ago, in England, that weren't a thing. Do you see what I mean? And we've all had to adapt from top to all the way to Sunday
You're being
leagues.
asked to play a different way. You're being asked to sit on the bench. Big difference.
Big difference.
You're being asked to play or change the way you play. You're being asked to go.
Goalkeeper mentality is still goalkeeper mentality.
They will adapt. They adapted when they switched the rules, and you got to keep your studs down.
I'm not saying they won't adapt in time. I'm just saying this isolated situation with Ramsdale, I think it's going to be a hard one to swallow for him to go raw. And also, I'm out of the team, then I'm in the team. I liked momentum. But it's different now. Players are used to changing. Goalkeepers aren't.
Well, like I've said about Arteta, I haven't always, seen his visions in the past as well.
Arteta out was one of your shouts.
No, well, look, that
was on the Amazon documentary.
That was a long time ago.
On the Arsenal documentary.
that was a long time ago. And there's a reason. I always say there's a reason why he's Mikel Arteta and I'm here doing the Bible 5 show.
You're just backing this decision now because he's doing it. If any other manager in the league was rotating goalkeepers, you'd be like, what's he doing?
I wouldn't care. I would not care. Do you know why?
Your Onana agenda is hilarious because Joe, who's made like the 5th highest number of saves in the league.
Did I say it was a bad thing?
Onana.
Did I say it was a bad thing?
No, but you're talking about, you only want to talk about his rushing out. You only want to talk about his getting lobbed.
When? I've mentioned it.
Were they not all
every
facts? Episode.
Were they not all facts? Did he not get lobbed pre-season a couple times?
Did he not get lobbed? You've mentioned Onana.
You've only had 6
Okay. Just to clear up my name. When we were watching Arsenal versus United, I was there, box seats with Jess Glynn, by the way, just saying, and everyone else that was there. I was scared for you guys, man. Every time you had the ball.
Why are we talking about Man United in the Arsenal segment?
Wait. I was scared and I thought to myself, oh my gosh, this guy's going to get caught out. But I kid you not, I've never seen such a more relaxed goalkeeper. He plays like one of my uncles in a five-a-side team, bro. Honestly, like I didn't understand what he was doing, but he's mad chilled.
What's that saying? Onana's got loads of confidence.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
That sounds like that'd be a really positive trait for a goalkeeper.
I didn't say it wasn't.
Right? But then you're going to erode it by making that's a madness. I wanted to change my goalkeeper after 60 minutes. Why?
Well,
was he not running enough?
Listen, mate.
Well, I think possession is a big driver for a lot of these managers. You look at, we're going to get onto De Zerbi in a minute. Possession is one of the biggest drivers for them. They want to control the game, control the tempo. So the goalkeeper nowadays is a massive part of that. So
yes, but I don't understand why he's trying to change it. And by the way, I think he's going into a full Kevin Keegan meltdown in his press conferences because the shit he's coming out with.
The analogies.
The 43 formations that I had, and
getting
actually
to work, got his route to work.
Yeah, like, no, shut up. Just because you can make a different picture.
You can say that when you're winning.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then the second that he just drops the ball, like he's going to lose a mad game that he should win. And then he's going to come out with his 43 formations and people are going to be like, what's he on?
But at the current moment, if anyone can do it, it's him. He's got enough credibility.
He's got grace.
Exactly. So for me, and you know what? I was very happy, Rio. That's the second 1-0 win we've had in the season, right?
Boring Arsenal.
But yeah, you can call it boring, but you know as well as I know, you know as well as I know that sometimes you've got to grind out results to get to where you want to get to. So
I'd love to be boring.
Go back to Crystal Palace. Exactly. I know United would love to be boring. Arsenal at the moment. Going back to the Crystal Palace result, we won 1-0.
We're pretty boring though.
Last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, we would have lost those games we would have dropped points. But going to Goodison, winning, not only did we win, we had control throughout the majority of the game. Not only just because the stats say that, but the eye test people.
Also, but by the way, you're playing against possibly the lowest confidence. The lowest team in terms of confidence in the league.
That's dangerous though, Rio.
For what?
Because that's dangerous though. Because you could go there, right? What's Sean Dyche's team talk? Come on, guys. It's been really poor this start of the season.
What do I think it's going to be?
This is the game.
Genuinely think
this is the game to turn it around.
This
is the game to turn it around. And they didn't.
If there's anywhere to go at the moment, Goodison Park ain't a bad one to go out of all the places you can go. I'm telling you.
You say that. You say that.
They got nothing. They got no punch.
You say that.
It's like going into a fight and knowing the other geezer cannot knock you out. You're on the front foot the whole game.
It's the perfect time to, if I'm Everton, it's the perfect time to start your season.
With what?
Big Arsenal.
With what?
Make a statement.
Your best strikers on the bench.
Get the crowd back.
Zero punch.
Get the crowd back.
0 goals.
That's what I would do. If I'm Sean Dyche, that's what I'm doing. And fantastic, Mikel Arteta. We went there. You know, fantastic goal by Trossard as well, by the way. Arsenal football.
I think your depth. I think that the goal I thought was the ruling, man, is nuts on that
Martinelli.
Goal. Yeah, that was a great finish, by the way.
It was.
But I think the bigger picture is the depth. Trossard coming in looks so supremely confident coming in there. Doesn't look, I haven't played a few games. Just jumps in straight away. I think there was a lot said about Declan Rice, by the way, and his transfer and the price of it at the beginning of the season. There's very much less said about it right now, which tells you this guy's performing at a very good level. He's operating at a high level. And I think that's testament to him because when you go for a big fee, that's all that's mentioned when it's not going well or when you're mediocre. But when you're playing well, people don't even mention it. So I'm gauging his performance is based just off of that alone. Forget the eye test. People are not chatting about 100 mil now. So he's kind of fitted in like a glove, and he's added a bit more steel and security and calmness to that team.
They're not conceding shots, which is the scary thing.
He's in that area.
Conceding any sort of level of shots. And I know they played Everton, but they're not conceding shots against other teams as well. Has he fucked off the Havertz experiment?
I'm not sure what Mikel is
Because that was when that happened, we're like, that's
what's
mental.
happening then?
Yeah.
What's happening, Joe, with Havertz?
It looks like what
60 million
Mikel
waste
said
of money,
in the press conference. He sees everyone in the team as an individual, meaning that some weeks this player will play, some weeks This player will
Like the
play.
goalkeeper.
Like the goalkeeper. So he's looking at it thinking, okay, we got a bunch of games coming up. We got PSV on Wednesday. We need to win that, by the way, because it's our first game in the Champions League.
Toss Europe off
Do
last
you
year,
know what I mean? Like you gain back the momentum of the crowd. It's been a long time. So he's now got a team to pick from. If you look, Gabriel Jesus didn't start. He started Eddie
What's it
Nketiah.
going to feel like when you hear that music for you guys now?
You don't know it, they don't know the words.
Oh, mate. Say what you want, boy, because it's going to be... We might even go live after that game. We might do a video. I think we should.
What, if you get beat?
No. I think you guys might get beat against Bayern, so I would calm down if I was
There's a
you.
very real chance of that.
Might get billed.
Big chance, but it's a great club. I guess Harry Kane as well.
Setting yourself up, yeah. I like it. So, for us,
Let's
I
move
think...
on now anyway. You
I
guys
think,
have talked enough about you boys.
why are you guys trying to take away my joy?
Go on.
I've been waiting the whole weekend to talk about this.
About what? Arsenal?
Yeah.
Well, beating Everton 1-0.
Yeah.
Get a grip, Joel.
It's the type of window.
Typical Arsenal supporter.
You guys wouldn't know.
Overboard.
Yeah.
You guys wouldn't know.
Overboard.
But yeah, great performance by the team.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, well done.
It sets us up brilliantly for Spurs.
So you're definitely going
on
to win the league
Sunday.
this year then, yeah?
Boy, I think, listen, let me tell you something.
Spurs made a good game. That's
That's a hell of a game.
They're doing
next
really
week.
well. They're doing really
good
well.
to see
Who
where
you got
Spurs
next
are.
week?
Burnley Saturday night.
Burnley away.
You covering that?
Yeah, I'm up there. I'm going to do that game.
I'm hearing company's going to do a madness still.
Well, it'd be about time on it because they've done fuck all. So
Right. Don't let it be you. Don't let it be you.
yeah.
Do you want to move it on to Man United? Because I can
let's
feel
get there. Let's get there. Ruined my weekend. Ruined my vibe in all my WhatsApp groups. I have been very low. I have not been engaging at all.
how hard did you ignore him?
Oh, his energy. This guy's energy in the WhatsApp groups is doing my head in.
But it's funny because me, you, and Harry Pinero were talking, and every time Brighton scored, I put in United, and then Harry said it's probably gonna have to be United with lower caps now.
Yeah. We're not capital team at the moment. It's not happening.
Oh my gosh, Rio, talk to us, man. Did you see it coming? Because I saw Steve's preview, and he wasn't confident at all. Fair play to him.
I don't think any fan has watched football, not just watch Man United, but watches football. So you see Brighton and what they do, and then you look at Man United, what they do. I don't think any fan in their right mind walked into that stadium at the weekend and thought, United are going to get 3 points here. Convinced. No chance.
The only thing giving me hope is that we've been so good at home, and then you think about it, it's actually in between the two Brighton games.
We've been so good at home last year.
Yeah,
This
but it's
season.
still a run, wasn't it? 31 games unbeaten at home. It's not
You
a
look
bad
at
one.
Wolves. People were tipping Wolves for relegation
Yeah.
before Wolves kicked. They come to United. And
Forest put it on us.
Batted you guys up,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah, they did.
Wolves.
Forest did the same.
Had you by the neck, like, bro,
Yeah.
we're gonna leave.
We
you.
did get 3 points though.
Yeah,
but,
just about. Should have been a pen.
It's crazy. I think people are looking for a scapegoat. I think that's the way media is right now. People look for a scapegoat and they go, that's the reason. I see some comments about, Rashford and he's not working hard enough, or Bruno's the captain now. Where's the... And I'm thinking like, Ralph Rangnick's comments when he left,
Open heart surgery.
he said, it's not, this doesn't need medicine. It's along the lines of, it doesn't need medicine, this needs open heart surgery. I don't think we took that into... No one looked at that comment and went, let me just dig into that. And... what does he mean? Because he didn't then answer and go into that and go deeper, right? But it shows you there's no one individual that's going to solve this problem. I think we had Cristiano Ronaldo, what he's done in the game. People think that he's going to come in, he can't solve it. We've had a load of managers come in with huge reputations. They're not sorting it out.
Spent a lot of money.
Spent a lot of money.
A lot.
That's not been sorting it out.
A lot of money.
We've juggled the pack behind the scenes with recruitment teams and the structure of the club behind the scenes with personnel. That's not going to change it alone. There needs to be a unified approach for it to happen. One of the biggest problems is the ownership,
Wait,
right?
Before you go into that, you talk about a unified approach.
Yeah.
Was you not getting onto Ralph Rangnick for his comments about the open heart surgery?
Yeah, because I was saying I'd rather that have gone inside the house and then work on it from inside, rather than going out and just letting everybody know that problem, it becoming a big talking point and even more spotlight on the club for the wrong reasons. So I take his comment. I didn't accept his comment because he was in there, but I wanted to see that being done behind the scenes and that open heart surgery being sorted out behind closed doors.
Doesn't there need to be a desire from the owners to actually be successful rather than just keep the cow alive and milk it?
That's where my point was coming next. My next point was these owners, the Glazers, I don't care what they say now, since June we've not heard anything, right? And even then it was tepid, right? But communication in any line of work, in any business, is vital for a business to be able to flourish and prosper and to function properly. And their lack of communication is deafening. It's been disgraceful in my eyes because you've got a fan base, you've got an institution, you've got clubs, you've got a staff, you've got players, you've got a manager. To work at their best, need the comms to be right. They need to understand it. And people say to me, well, when you played, there was an issue with the Glazers and there was marches and whatnot and people wearing the gold and green scarves, etc. Yes, there was. But I was in a changing room that was fully functioning, that was winning, that the culture was set. So what was going on off the pitch, it had to be an earthquake, huge proportions to affect that change room because we were built rock solid, right? This is a fragile change room. This is a fragile infrastructure. And there's new people coming in and out, new signings in, new manager, culture trying to be reset. People behind that is new as well. And this ownership aren't communicating to help that. We need communication now more than ever, and they're not getting it. And that is where my kind of anger and frustration lies with the ownership because they're not helping. This is you own something. Surely they love it. Surely they love the club. But I'm being led to believe no, they don't. It's just a business, cold-hearted. That's it. Because if you did love the club, you'd want to help the manager. You'd want to help the recruitment team. You'd want to help the players on the pitch. You'd want to help the staff because they become a part of you when you love a football club. But these guys don't seem to get that. And the silence speaks so much. It speaks volumes.
18 years of silence.
I was going to say last time they communicated this summer was like June, yeah.
And that's not even like a real statement.
It
like
weren't. Wishy-washy.
It's if you're going to keep it, because all we're getting is rumour at the moment. It's been sold to Qatar. It's been sold to Jim Radcliffe. It's not getting sold and they want 10 billion. Like, where's the direction? I'm sure Erik's just getting on with what he needs to get on with, but he must walk into that training ground every day and someone come up to him and go, can I have a word? And he goes, oh my God, what now? What now? Who can't I play now? Like, we've had a ton of injuries and Dean Saunders actually one of the few people I can listen to on TalkSport, but Dean Saunders actually said,
shout out Dean Saunders, I love him.
He's looked at United's pre-season programme and honestly I was knackered just watching the games, let alone training and playing in the games. You look at the amount of places that we went from Oslo to Edinburgh to the tour in America, back to Dublin and a game at Old Trafford and everything that we did in between. And loads of people go, every club does pre-season. Yeah, they do. But look at the distances, look at the number of games and the thinness of the squad. So who was required to play the most games that we actually competed in that? And Dean Saunders at the start of the season went, I think they're going to get loads of injuries looking at that. And then when you add on top of that, the fact that we played a game every quarter of an hour last season, look at the injuries that we've had. Varane's out. Okay, you kind of expect that a little bit with him. Luke Shaw's out. You're seeing we signed Amrabat who was injured. We've got Højlund who was injured. All of these players that are unavailable to us. We had a paper-thin squad. Anyway, Casemiro looks like he needs a rest. It's like the first month of the season.
Mate, he looks like he's been in Brazil partying the whole summer.
Like, there's so much wrong just in terms of the availability of the players that we've got, let alone the training can't be a nice place at the moment.
Who's going to apologise to Sancho?
About what?
Who's going to apologise to him?
What for?
Because it looks like the whole team's not training well at the moment. I feel like he's
the whole team's not playing well. Don't know about training.
Well, I don't know. Well,
how bad must his performance in training be? No one gets launched out of the whole squad. You might get benched, but no one's getting launched out of the whole squad for a 5 out of 10 in training. So what's happening?
Exactly.
Like, is that him not turning up? Not training? Has he blown up about Anthony starting all the time?
I think that's you hit the nail on the head there. I think I would like to be a fly on the wall in that change room come today, because I remember what it was like when we went for a rough patch. 2 weeks.
Fights,
2 weeks. It'd be red hot in training, but also there'd be 1 or 2 players, or maybe 3 or 4, that would come in and go and ease the mood, be a bit jovial, have a laugh. Crack a few jokes.
Who?
Come on, guys.
I think you know who.
Neville's good at it. Yeah. I would do it. Roy Keane was good at it back in the day as well. Mainly some of the experienced ones, because
Roy Keane.
And to be fair, even people like Anderson would be a little. He could crack it, and it just lightens the mood, and it's not all that bad actually. And you needed that voice sometimes outside of the manager to go, listen, it's not the end of the world. We've only played 5 games. How many more games we've got? Relax, we'll be all right. Come on, man. Train hard, work yourself in training. We'll get our luck. We'll build our luck. We'll make our luck, right? But then, I look around that training ground and think, who is that guy? I don't know. I don't know if it is there or isn't. I'm just asking. I would love to know who the guy who comes in with the experience, with the know-how, with the understanding and timing to do that, if it's not going to be the manager. And Jadon Sancho, that's where I think with Jadon Sancho, if he had gone into the manager and go, listen, Anthony or whoever ain't doing what they're meant to be doing, when am I getting my shot? I think Erik Ten Hag wouldn't mind that. But like you said, to be thrown out of the squad, what's gone on, man? Is it a personal thing between the manager and the player? Or is he genuinely not training the way he wants him to train?
I just think there's other ways. He knew that Jadon Sancho question was going to come up. After you've just got slapped by Arsenal, there's other ways
Why
to
can't you
handle
answer that question?
Because look what's happened.
All right, well, let me throw it out like this.
It hasn't helped. His club, he's already going through a lot as it is, and he knows it. You should be able to see, look, I've got Maguire issues, I've just got rid of Greenwood, that's been looming. You've got this Anthony situation. You do not need to make more noise at the club. Maybe you can't say, hold on, Steve, just let me land. Maybe, there's other things to say. You might not say he's ill, but you could have batted it away and said, look, man, I can only focus on the players that are in the squad today. Yeah. It's just like every other player, we have to move on to the next game. I'm sorry, but that even within itself is a good enough answer to calm down what's happened.
All right, let me give you another scenario.
Go on.
So he's taken Jadon Sancho out of the limelight. He's taken him off to Holland for
3 months, is it?
No, it wasn't that long. Okay. I'm trying to think of the... for whatever reason, let's just say issues, right? Yeah. He's taken him off to Holland for his issues. I would suggest to you two that is the equivalent of him being his mate, putting his arm around him, taking him out of the firing line, doing what he can. Agreed. Now I would imagine more has happened with them, meetings, conversations, arm around the shoulder, going out for a fucking croissant, whatever it is, between then and between I'm going to put him on blast on telly. And I reckon him putting him on blast on telly, at least in his head. Now, he might not have anticipated the blowback being what it was, but I think in his head he was like, maybe I need to make this public now to see if that'll spark him into...
I said the same thing. That's what
maybe.
I said exactly what Steve just said there. I said that because I think he's exhausted every avenue to try and get the best out of Jadon Sancho. I think Jadon would say and agree he hasn't lived up to the hype yet and the fee. And the manager's gone, this is my last chance. I can't get anything out of him, everything else I've done. So I'm going to make it public and see if that public embarrassment and his pride gets pressed enough where he goes, you know what, I'm not having this. I'm going to come back with a performance because he done it to Rashford.
Rashford's one was different though, Rio, because he was late for a training session and he was on form.
For the
meeting. Sorry, and during that time, Rashford was on form. So what he was doing was saying, look, no one's an exception. Rashford was in the squad. He came on.
No, but what I'm saying, like you say though, he was the talisman at the time. He was where we were getting all our goals.
Yeah,
he was on fire at the top of his game, and the manager said, for being late. Which a lot of people go, it's ain't late for a meeting.
No, I think that was right.
Get on the bench. So in terms of ego and pride, and then more pressure, you're thinking, hold on a minute, I'm your main man.
If we'd have lost that game.
The noise would have been so loud after that if they'd lost that game. But it worked out for him, and you need a bit of luck, I know. But I just think there's been players that have been asked questions in publicly or subliminally. And Wan-Bissaka, for instance, he's come back from almost a dead, from being definitely thrown out for 10, 15, whatever they could get.
He never spoke about it, Rio. That's the thing.
I know, but I didn't say just being spoken. I just think in just actions as well. But I think Jadon, the manager going public with Jadon was a big call. And I think, did the manager understand the risk with that would be my main question.
Or do you think it's emotion? You've just lost to Arsenal.
No, I think he's a calculated guy.
I think he's pretty cool with it. I reckon he's probably been that one step that we saw with Holland, probably 7 steps we haven't seen and don't know about, and then this step that we did see. And I think people are seeing 1 and 2 steps and thinking that was all it was. I reckon there was a whole myriad of stuff in between that he has tried. And he if like, there's obviously rumours about stuff that's happening locally, like, he's not turning up. I didn't like the character assassination of Jadon that came out after it.
It's like they
there
dug
was
out
like
info
people was like, he was rude to a dinner lady once 10 years ago.
that was bad.
Like there was all sorts of that. You go, not relevant, not relevant, not relevant.
Got a bad attitude.
Agreed.
He's a bit aloof and he's hard to.
He didn't smile when he was taking his photos for Sky. Actually, who cares?
This is why I think for players it's important to talk and to get yourself across as who you are genuinely. And that's why I believe for as much as people say there's bad things with social media, that is one good thing of social media. You're controlling your narrative. Or you come on shows like this and you talk to the people, because you need to show who you are sometimes, because when you get into a problem or there's a bump in the road, the media, especially the traditional media, are very quick to start character assassinating. And without your genuine, authentic self out there, they can do it willy-nilly without any response. And that's where Jadon, he hasn't had much in the media at all, doesn't speak to the media really. So they take that as being, well, he don't talk to us, he's aloof, he's rude, he's ignorant. When he's not, he's just shy. He's shy and doesn't want to connect like that through the social media and wants to do the social media scene how he does it. But there is a way, I think, that they're using these platforms like us, like other ones out there, as a place to really showcase who you really are. I think is really important. Just to finish on the point about the manager and setting in stone the discipline and levels and whatnot. Arsenal done the same thing, by the way. When they'd done that with Aubameyang and Ozil before, everyone was going, whether you believed it was right or wrong, that club stuck by the manager. The hierarchy said, yes, this is what we're doing, we're behind you, blah, blah. Yeah. So I think this is what, for Man United fans, especially, to start shouting and going, oh, what's he doing? Whether you believe the manager's right or wrong in that situation, he's doing what he thinks best by the club for discipline and for standards. So as a football club, you've kind of got to stand with him and say, he's the manager. Let's go with it. Let that situation play out. Let the two of them sort it out between each other as men, I believe. But you've got to have a standard set, and the manager's got to do that. And I think agree. Arsenal done that really well. The ownership stood firm with that.
Just 2 points. I know we're on this topic a little bit long, but I want to say there is also, as much as I'm more on Jadon's side, if I'm honest with you, but maybe I've got different sentiment because it's not my club. But what I thought he could have done better during the week, or the picture that came out with him and Aaron Wan-Bissaka in NBA. It's not to say that he didn't train hard earlier on in the day.
It's not a good look, though, is it? Visually, it's not a good look.
Visually, I just thought, big man, you might have done your sessions, but right now, please tone it down. Do you know what I mean?
Why?
For me, I can't lie.
I don't understand why Jadon would allow that picture to go anywhere or put himself in a position to
you think that week, don't you? You go, if any picture's coming out, it's me with Rocky tunes on, like running up a mountain.
I think he's just had enough, though.
You just don't go out, though.
He just had.
Why are you putting petrol on the fire?
Yeah, that's the only thing.
The fire is blazing right now, yeah? And if you was going to pick a picture to really antagonise and to set that even more alight, that's one of the first 2 or 3 picks.
Put that, the first picture, video that goes up is, I'm training hard in America right about now. And then later on, if you really want to put the picture of you out, then you can put it out.
Saying,
but you've got to.
6 o'clock the next morning, you have another one.
Yeah, exactly. Of you back in training. Exactly.
I'm saying don't even get on that flight.
Agreed. No, I agree with that.
I'm saying don't even get out of the country. Get on the training pitch. It was nice weather here, by the way, then.
Yeah.
Get your studs in the grass.
Yeah, agreed.
Do you know, if you was working with him, something that you might have said to him, especially because the Anthony stuff broke 24 hours later, I think he wrote that himself, that statement, and blasted it out straight away.
Yeah, he did.
I think if he'd have just held his fire for 24 hours, it'd have been such a different...
He wins.
It's true.
Yeah.
He wins.
And even if he just puts out something like, look, me and the manager didn't maybe see eye to eye last week. I promise I'll do everything I can for the shirt this week, and I'm going to put extras in all week. Then no one can... And then deliver that.
But then flip side to that, he might be saying that me and the manager had conversations about this. There's stuff going on outside of the game even. There's certain things in my private life that's going on that the manager knows about, but he's still gone this way. That's what I think why Jadon's gone like this. And I don't know, but I believe for him to come out, because he's a shy guy, he's not somebody who's going to be forthcoming with quotes after quote. For him to come out the way he did on the defensive, the way he has, says to me that there's something else going on here, that he felt that he had the trust of the manager, and that trust has been broken.
It might be something as simple as he feels... And I think this is where the football board at United has to take a little bit of responsibility as well. You brought a new manager in. He's spent big money on Casemiro. Who else did we bring in? Martinez last summer. And then he spends a lot of money last summer
Oh, Arsenal. Okay, sorry.
And then he brings in Anthony on big money. Maybe the football board can go, we've got a right winger in Sancho that we've paid a lot of money for last summer. Could you give it 12 months to see if you fancy him or not? And then if not, we'll bring Anthony in the year after. Would that not have been
maybe, but
if
if a manager comes in and you're hearing we're backing you, you know, we're going to support you, the first thing you don't want to hear is no, sorry, you can't bring in your man.
I didn't say no. I said
it is no.
Could you look at this guy first? That's not a no.
No, it's not. But at the same time, it's still away from his desired plan.
But it's also not a...
Right.
This isn't the striker situation where you haven't got one and we go, could you maybe have a formation without a striker? It's not that. It's 12 months ago, this football club invested 75 million into a right winger.
But he might be looking at Anthony and he's thinking, listen, if you don't buy this guy, it will be like some of the other signings that you guys have missed out on. But sometimes you strike whilst the iron's hot. It's true. That's
didn't
like
miss
saying...
out when you pay 90 million for him. It's not like one that got away.
He obviously thought he was going to be a top player.
But the problem is, the risk with that is the balance now within the squad in the forward areas was way off.
I agree.
You've got three of your wingers out of probably 4 or 5, their best positions on the left. Jadon's best position on the left. Marcus's best position on the left. Garnacho's position best on the left. So the balance up there, if just to look at that alone, makes you think, hold on a minute, why would you even spend any more money over that side? And the only reason why you would is because you've got no belief in the one that's already in the house. That's the problem.
And from this is a football club that we keep having people tell us constantly that you've spent this amount of money, you've spent this amount of money. Yeah, because you're lurching from one manager's wants to another manager's wants. And that's why I say maybe the football board has to take some responsibility and say, no, 12 months ago, we thought this guy's our guy. So
I don't think you're wrong, by the way.
Like you said, okay, so you got this Sancho, you got 75 million for this Sancho. Are we going to play him off the left-hand side? No, that's Marcus's position. Okay. So we know he can play on the right-hand side and be really effective. We've seen him do both at Dortmund.
Yeah.
So we're going to play him there. No, we're going to spend 90 million on another player.
Think you're wrong.
Cool. What we're going to do with this kid then?
I don't think you're wrong, by the way.
And maybe that's what Sancho had.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong.
Maybe his issue with Ten Hag is you never give me a chance. You bought me you bought a £90 million player that plays in my position.
You have to play him.
Yeah. So when he plays through bad form, I don't get to play through bad form. What's going on? So when he says, I think there's other reasons, because he's, it might not necessarily be a personal issue. It might not be. It might be that he doesn't feel like he's got the backing of the guy.
But I just want to say though, what a performance by Brighton!
Do you know what? It's
respect.
It's only fair.
You have to do that.
Oh, Brighton!
You have to look at that goal they scored. Was it Gross's goal?
Ria.
Right. That goal was 30 passes. And Man United never laid a glove on any of the players before that goal was scored.
That's a teaching tool, surely.
And that's what I was going to talk about. Like Brighton, the difference between the two teams, right? Forget individuals or whatever, but the way that those players looked like they were coached were very different in the red shirt to blue and white shirts. One team looked like they were supremely coached and understood what was on the tin.
With no disrespect, really ordinary players turning that performance in. So why can't ours do that?
I don't know. But
the club is ran differently.
There's the insight there.
I'm talking about Brighton. They look coached. They look well versed. First 15 minutes of the game, Man United looked the better team probably. They looked like they energised, they were aggressive, etc. But as soon as De Zerbi worked Man United out, obviously playing a diamond, they didn't expect the diamond. They worked that after the first 15 minutes, rode that storm. Man United never got near to him, couldn't lay a glove on him. And the formation, the way that they've played this season, they do this to everybody. That's why it wasn't a surprise to me to see that result coming in. When I was sitting there going, oh my God, how have Brighton beat us? I know how Brighton have beat us because they're better. They're a better team than Manchester United. They are a better team. They're not a group of individuals. They're a better team that understand exactly how to play and what the manager wants. And they were magnificent. So forget Man United were poor as they were. Brighton were fantastic.
We need to go there as a team to Brighton.
Yeah, man.
Me, you, Steve,
I just want to watch a training
Pinero,
session, please.
Get some episodes from there. I think
show me a playing out training session and just let me watch.
They're playing more youngsters than anybody. The pathway to the first team is greater. They've had since De Zerbi's been there. They've had more shots on goal than anybody. They've created as much chances as anyone. I think second in or third in the league.
Can he keep De Zerbi? And does it matter if they can't?
No, because they'll find another person. And that's what I'm interested to find out when we go there. How did they find De Zerbi? Well, I know, because I've spoken to the guys behind the scenes. They threw his name into the computer and what they want, what they need in the manager, what their requirements were as a club, because they've got that down. They're set up properly, professionally, really organised. Put it in the computer. One name jumped out. Top of the list, the only name, De Zerbi.
Really?
They approach him, they get him, he comes in. Proof's in the pudding. It works.
But they're playing the same system.
Same
right
thing
away
with players,
from
by the way.
Yeah, and you can tell that that's what they're doing. Like, they're not lurching from one system to another. They're going, here's a manager that'll fit our system. They had it working great with Graham Potter. He moves on. He went, okay, cool. And then he went and got somebody else, and he's arguably taken it to a different level. Yep. I think he's doing an even better job than Graham Potter did. Yep. They're constantly selling off their best players, which you feel like that's got a shelf life on it where that ends up coming to an end. But maybe it won't. Maybe because their scouting is so good. And here's what annoys me is like, where's the likes of Manchester United going, if they can do that, why can't we do that?
Because their model is different to ours, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
I'm not talking about selling on players, but
they've got a model.
If we could recruit the way they're recruiting and not have to sell, like if we could find our own Evan Ferguson instead of, because he's going to cost 150 million real.
Oh man!
But they have a model that's working, and they have an identity. So from top to bottom, this is how we're going to recruit players, and they do it through data, not the eye test. It's data driven.
Surely it's both.
Data, right? And that's our way of playing. So the data is going to spit players out that are going to be identified to play and fit into the style of play that we want to play. And this is the manager who's been able to implement that the best way. And our model is we're going to bring through players from obscure places at times and young players from the academy, because they're brought up the same way to play the same type of football. And then when they get to a place where they've really done really well and clubs want them, we're not averse to selling them, because we know, by the way, that model is forever bubbling. And while we're still doing well on the pitch and beating Man United 3-1, etc., our data is telling us where's the next ones. And that's their model. Man United and other clubs, but Man United, as we're talking about now, don't have that identity or that model to go on and lean on in any time or need. That's where we are.
Yeah, they're flying. Well done. Right on it.
Look, you got 5 minutes for me.
No, I got to go. I might miss the train already.
Okay, because so Steve has had to catch his train.
Emergency exit.
Emergency exit. He wasn't needed anyway because United didn't perform this week.
And we're talking about Liverpool next.
And we're talking about Liverpool, so perfect timing for him to be out of it. But I want to go on to Liverpool, man. Rio, are they back? You know, because great result again. You know,
lucky.
Would you say lucky?
I think they were fortunate. Lucky's probably a bit strong, but they went 1-0 down.
Yeah.
Neto was causing all sorts of problems. He whips one in, and Cunha, I don't know how he missed it. He misjudged the timing of the ball.
Yeah, that was a bit mad, didn't it?
1-0, that makes it 2-0, and it's just in the 6-yard box he was. It's harder to miss it.
Yeah.
And they go 2-0 down. Listen, Anfield's still a fortress, don't get me wrong, but they're not back, but they're showing signs of being a bit resilient and better than they was last season. I think when you got Mo Salah, he didn't even score at the weekend, but he was still very active. So that tells you they're going in the right direction.
I mean, this is against Wolves, by the way. They beat Wolves 3-1 away. Now, when you're looking at Liverpool, though, you're saying they're not back.
Sorry, it's away, was it? Yeah.
Yeah. Is it too soon? Is it too soon to start looking at the league table, would you say? Because they're third at the moment.
Trust me, I didn't look at the league table till
you lot are 13th.
Like December, January maybe. I didn't look at the league table.
I don't know about that. Because when you guys were getting on to Arsenal last year, going in October and November, those guys are going to fall off top.
I was always saying them, we don't look at the table till them times.
You didn't say that to Steve. You didn't.
I did. I've always said them maintain the same thing. I wouldn't look at the league table and get giddy or whatever until after Christmas. That's what the big boys do, man.
This is exactly why I've got my new notepad that I'm going to start taking notes in. Because when you say these things, Rio,
What was that, in the bargain bucket, that one?
Yeah, it was. No, I got it from Amazon, actually, to be honest.
Bargain bucket on Amazon.
So basically, what we're going to start doing is,
to be fair, though, you know, Liverpool's team, they had a few players out as well, you know.
Yeah.
So impressive in that sense. But
I think they're going to go under the radar this year and do pretty well, you know.
Liverpool
I can see them.
can never go under the radar.
You say that, but I think they're doing that now.
No.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, anyway, moving it on. Chelsea. Rio.
Go on then.
You know what?
They're all over the place.
Yeah, they're
all over the
absolute
place
shambles, man. Seriously, like Pochettino, you know, is honestly last 14 games, 10 losses, 4 draws, 0 wins. He was talking about injuries. With 12 injuries and only 3 players that started today who were with us for these 2 weeks, I think I only need to say it was a really good effort from the team.
If there's one club that can't talk about injuries, it's Chelsea. Chelsea, the amount of players that they've had come in that place, you could have 20 injuries and you would not have any sympathy from anywhere around the world with injuries.
I asked Charlie, I said, Charlie, can you name 40 of your first team players? Because they got around 40 and he just didn't even bother, you know.
It's difficult. I keep saying this and I maintain this and until things change even more drastically. But I think Pochettino will get it right. I think it's going to take time. He's going to need patience. We haven't seen that they've got patience yet, this ownership group, but he needs time and patience to mould this squad into what a Pochettino squad should look like under his guidance. So I think it's difficult to watch for him at the moment. And I look at their team and I just don't see there's not a killer in the team at the moment. There ain't that killer instinct or that.
Closest is Sterling.
Yeah.
He looks like their best player, man.
Yeah, he's been the one that's like you say, okay, he's playing to anywhere near
and
the
Enzo
that you expect. But I think they're finding it difficult. I think it's just you've got a bunch of new players thrown together, man, with a new manager as well. So it's going to take time. To expect them to be hitting the ground perfectly right now, I think would be a bit far-fetched, but we didn't expect it to be so indifferent.
No, I wouldn't have expected it. I mean, yeah, if I'm very honest, I mean, £462 million spent over. You know, it's not looking good, and the injuries keep mounting up as well. So their last league victory was against Luton. Congratulations. Looking at Tottenham, I can't lie. This is probably going to be the most. They beat Sheffield United 2-1, by the way.
Finish of that game,
yeah, like what's his name? Kulusevski. Mashing it up, honestly, making a huge difference. But also Richarlison turning into prime R9 in the last 10 minutes of the game, man. Literally, goal and assist. This is the Richarlison that we saw at the World Cup.
I have to be honest, I rate him. I really like him. I love his energy. I love his I felt for him, his comments the other day said he wants to see a psychiatrist to help him handle the situation he's in at the moment. But I just think no one knows what's going on behind the scenes, and I hope he gets himself right. But I like him as a player, man. I remember speaking to Carlo Ancelotti about him when he had him at Everton. He said this kid will play for a top tier team, Champions League team, and he'll be one of the best players around because he's that good. I think Harry Kane going, he could be the biggest benefactor of it. As a number 9 at that club,
He should be.
I think he could be. I think he's got a chance. He's got to give him himself a good chance. I think this manager will stand by him for a period of time and give him the time and patience, because I think he brings so much more than just goals. He's a nuisance to play against. I think it'd be hard to play against in that sense. He's always on your shoulder. He don't mind a little bit of a physicality. Yeah. He's cute in and around the box. He's got good feet. He's got good awareness. Like we saw at the weekend, he can make an assist, and he always gets chances.
Yeah,
and I think that's when you talk about strikers. If you've got a striker who's not scoring goals, but you never see him on the end of a chance, even, then you're worried. But he's getting chances, or he gets chances, man. Whether he's finishing needs to sharpen up or not, yes, you can throw that in. But I think in the long run, I would bet for him doing well at Spurs.
Villa quietly doing well.
Villa
beating Crystal Palace 3-1. Where are they going to finish, Ria? That's all I want to know. Where are they going to finish?
I don't know. They're 7th. They're behind West Ham at the moment. Obviously, it's in 6th, and they're behind Brighton. I'll be surprised if they finish above Brighton. But I think they're going to be in and around where they are now. Between 8th and 6th.
Agreed.
I can see Aston Villa finishing, because I think, again, recruitment, they've done well. They've got a vastly experienced manager who knows his way around the pitch. So Villa fans, I think they're going to be in for a good season, because they're getting goals, man. They're scoring goals.
Newcastle, obviously, it's been a little bit slow for them. Obviously, Champions League football as well this year. Is it one of those where do you reckon they'll struggle a little bit?
Well, I think we always said at the beginning of the season, before a ball was kicked, this is going to be a testing season for Newcastle, because European football, alongside bigger expectations in the Premier League, so there are no days off now. In recent seasons, Newcastle could afford to get beat here or there or away at so-and-so. Now, every result, they're expecting some form of result. So it's a bigger responsibility, a bigger ask of the individuals in that squad and the management. So we'll see now. This season's going to play and we'll get the answers to those questions. And I think that you're at a club that are really, they were surprised by how quick they've got to where they are right now. But they're not the type, I don't think, who are going to sit there and go, well, okay, if we have a season off, we end up by the end of the season being where we thought we'd be before last season. No, they're going, we're ahead of schedule. We want to get even further ahead of schedule.
Do you reckon, so what do you reckon they're going to go for, like that Chelsea route where Ranieri, I remember when Ranieri first took over, he got third that season when Roman Abramovich came in. He got third, but then they still got rid of him and brought in Mourinho. Now, we're not talking the sack talk because obviously we know Eddie Howe's done really well. But do you reckon if he doesn't perform well, then the owners at Newcastle will be like, who's the next best manager out there that we can get in to go for the league straight away? Or do you reckon they'll sit and be patient?
I think Eddie Howe is very well aware that these guys are great businessmen. And to be great businessmen, you have to have a ruthless streak. So if they see a chink in his armour or they see a better option for that time, I don't think they'll hang around, these guys. But I don't think these guys are knee-jerk people. I think Dan Ashton, who they're working behind the scenes, is heading up the recruitment, isn't a knee-jerk guy. The ownership, to me, the individuals that I've met behind the scenes, they don't seem like they're a knee-jerk people. So I think they'll be calculated, but I think if there's a decision to be made at a time when they see a better option for the team, for the club, they won't be scared of making that.
Fulham beating Luton 1-0. Well done, Jack.
Well done, Jack.
Moving it on to West Ham, Man City again. Boring, innit? Like, same old. Doku really impressed me, by the way. What a player, man.
He's been around for a while, you know.
Yeah.
Anyone who knows, who watches a little bit of European football and stuff, would know that this kid burst onto the scene. Everyone's saying, oh my God, it's the next winger.
He's sick, man.
There's a bit of Sterling about him in terms of like the pace, the ability to run behind, something that hasn't been in this team since Sterling left. They haven't from wide areas had a player. Jack Grealish gets it, manipulates.
Yeah,
Mahrez gets it, manipulates. This kid is like Sterling. He's going to put defenders on the back foot and say, you might have to give yourself another couple of yards because I can get in behind. And it adds another dimension again to this already great Manchester City team because once he gets his game understanding right and gets his decision-making right and his execution right under the guidance of Pep Guardiola and his staff and the influence of the other players around him, which will only make him better, this kid's going to be an absolute danger.
Problem. I mean, you say Sterling, I think he's quick like Sterling, but his game's a little bit different, man. He's more trickier. Like I'm not saying he's JJ Okocha, but I saw that kind of like, you know, JJ Okocha, Victor Moses.
I think he's more Sterling like when he was at Liverpool. Sterling was at Liverpool. Sterling was running 1v1s all day long, getting to people, getting to the byline, crossing. That's what he does. Sterling's game evolved. That's what I'm saying. He could evolve and become like Sterling. End product was that Man City getting 15, 20 goals a season, 10, 15 assists. Like he could do that quite easily because he's got the raw materials that I think any top manager or any manager would want to work with.
He's wicked. Like honestly, it's one game, but I just thought obviously he played recently and Pep said he was a bit shy.
Yeah,
you know, and they asked him as well. He said, "Yeah, I was a bit shy." Yeah, you know, but I'm really excited with that one.
I'm just surprised that he wasn't taken by anybody else. I am genuinely because, like I said, the raw materials he has. You think he'd be a no-brainer for anybody. He's got the personality. You can tell in his interviews only. His personality, his character's there.
And Haaland as well. He scored, but it looked like he weren't going to get one. And for him, a bad game is he's only got one goal. Like I don't know if he'll break the record, but
I'll bet against it.
I bet he'll still get the golden boot. So that's the most important thing. Rio, that brings us to the end of this week's episode of Vibe with 5. We got some good content on the channel, you know. Yeah,
we got some real hot stuff. Seriously, man. Just do that. Coming down the pipes. Coming down the pipes.
Yeah, we're gonna go have a chat with. You know, it's not just about players. You know, playing in the Champions League. In fact, we're gonna go talk to Gerard Bowen really soon as well, innit? Because
I'm looking forward to speed. He won a European trophy for West Ham.
Yeah.
Do you know what that makes him?
Yeah.
it makes him a living legend in the middle of his career.
Especially at West Ham.
How many players get that?
Not a lot, you know.
Not many.
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to that one. We're going to have Steve available with us as well. Very unique journey, man. So please watch out for that one.
That song started from the bottom.
Now we're here.
That's him.
Come on. I like that.
Jared Bowen.
Yeah, and also, you know, we've got Beyond the Night. The Beyond the 90 episode went so good.
Well, HP and
Harry
Scholesy.
Pinero and Scholesy,
We've
man.
got another one with a legend as well.
Some of them know who he is,
Ballon
but
d'Or winner.
either way, it's coming out. We're going to drop it maybe within the next couple of weeks, but please make sure you keep on watching, and it's going to be excellent, man.
good.
Guys, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. Please, it's very important to do so, and, you know, keep on supporting us. Follow us on socials as well. All the links are in the description, and obviously the LiveScore 6 competition that we've got going on. You could be in the studio here with us, so don't waste time, man.
Just throw some questions at us. What do you want? What do you want more? Do you want to see? What are you liking at the moment? Just send it in. We read all the comments. We are so involved, and we love your views. We take it all on board, guys. So keep showing.
You're part of our community. Signing out. Peace. Rio, it's that time again during the course of the week, and we have our LiveScore 6 predictions to do this weekend. Last week, we got 0 correct scores and 4 correct results, which is another £100 for our charity. And now we have accumulated £300. Here are the 6 games this week. What are we thinking? Luton versus Wolves.
I'm going Wolves to win that 2-1. Wolves have looked really good, man. They've lost games, I understand that, but Liverpool and Man United especially, they deserve results in them games.
Yeah, no, I think Luton ain't got enough. Yeah, they ain't got enough. You know, like they better be careful because they could end up with the
2-1.
lowest point tally. Yeah, 2-1. Man City versus Nottingham Forest.
Could be 5-0.
5. I say 4. They never get 4s.
Don't they?
City.
What are you saying?
4-0s.
You saying 4-0?
Yeah.
Right, I'll let you have that.
4-0 4-0. Burnley versus Man United. Definitely 3-0. 3-0 Burnley.
What are you talking about?
3-0 Burnley. At home.
No.
Turf Moor.
Man United win that game 1-0. Time of need. Man United 1-0. Come on, man.
No comment. Chelsea versus Aston Villa.
I'm going to go for a Chelsea. Aston Villa win.
2-1 Villa.
2-1 Villa, yeah.
I'm with you still.
Yeah.
Arsenal versus Spurs. I'll let you pick this one.
Can we say draw? I'm going to go draw.
I'll be disappointed if it is 2-2.
I'm going to go 2-2.
2-2. Sheffield United versus Newcastle.
Newcastle, 2-0 away from home.
2-0. They have to, man. They have to get that one. Enter by 3 p.m. on Saturday, the 23rd of September for a chance to win. 18 plus, UK and Ireland only. Full T's and C's apply. Get involved.